Oil prices have spiked following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Brent has been trading above the $100 a barrel mark and hit a high of $105 for the first time since 2014. Concerns about disruptions to global energy supply have led to this sharp jump in crude oil. In India, which imports about 80% of its needs from other countries, this surge in oil prices will impact the inflation print. What steps can the government do to take stock of the current situation? And also separately, the marquee program announced by the Prime Minister and taken forward in the budget, the Gati Shakti mission. The first webinar post-budget has been conducted today. Joining us now to take us through the developments on both these fronts is Hardeep Singh Puri, the Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, as well as the Urban Development Minister. Mr. Puri, always a pleasure. Many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Let me start by talking to you about what is top of mind, sir, and that is the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the economic implications on account of that. The Prime Minister held a meeting with you and your other cabinet colleagues. Can you take us through where things currently stand on how India can mitigate some of the risks on account of the Ukrainian conflict?
Thank you very much, Shereen, for having me on your show. Whenever there's an exacerbation of tensions in any part of the world leading to the kind of developments that we are seeing on the Russia-Ukraine front, there are several issues which will need to be assessed, and I don't want to tread into the well-defined territory of both my colleagues, the External Affairs Minister and the Finance Minister. The External Affairs Minister, both through our explanation of vote on the Security Council resolution which was brought, which was voted under Chapter 2, and other statements that the External Affairs Minister has made, very clearly we would like the use or greater use of diplomacy in order to resolve the issues, and we would encourage all concerned to come back to the negotiating table, and there is some sign of discussions being scheduled. The Finance Minister has also, I think, commented in considerable detail on the possible impact that an extension of hostilities could have on the Indian economy. I will confine myself very simply to the impact on energy prices. You mentioned our dependence on 80%. Madam, I would say that our dependence in the area of crude is over 85%. In the area of gas, it is 50% or thereabouts. We have been separately, autonomously, unrelated to all this, taking absolutely drastic steps to increase the area under exploration and production, to more blending, all that. But insofar as the current developments are concerned, you might have seen a statement which my ministry issued day before yesterday around 3 o'clock, which categorically mentions two things. One is that the government of India is closely monitoring the situation because of the volatility in terms of impact on price. We stand ready with our other partners to collaborate, as we did in November, for considering a release from our strategic petroleum reserves. And, we had released an amount last time. And if push comes to shove, we would do that. We would support initiatives in the International Energy Agency also, which has a meeting, I think, scheduled in the next day or two. But all I would say is that, Shereen, I personally don't subscribe to some of the, shooting off the hip kind of comments which are coming from certain sections. This will happen, that will happen. The markets also have to factor in what would happen in case there is an uncontrolled increase in prices. That will impact economic recovery. It will impact inflation. And you're already seeing inflation in the world's leading economy, the United States, which is a $20 trillion plus dollar economy, which is at I think a 40-year high. Now, if that happens in too many other places, then the consumption or the demand itself goes down. That becomes unproductive. So there are 2 or 3 simultaneous processes which are underway. I mentioned our statement. We are closely monitoring the situation. We are encouraging. I had a discussion last night with the Secretary of Energy of the United States, Jennifer Greenholm, and both of us discussed this situation. I think everybody is agreed that those who are in the happy situation of having access to these assets and resources, that they need to put more oil into the market. Now, whether they are willing to do it, whether they need to be persuaded to do it, whether other players can step in and make oil available. What you need to ensure is that initially the futures was up $2, then the price went up by a few $5. I was told yesterday it came down to 97. Right. We are monitoring this closely, and I can assure you, and through you, our viewers, your viewers, that the situation is being monitored, and I think things are under control, and we will take such steps as are necessary in order to ensure that the price at the bunk or the pump is kept within affordable limits.
So there's a lot that you've packed in there. Let me try and address some of those issues that you spoke of. I understand that this is a dynamic situation and it's evolving literally every day. Let me understand from you as far as the impact of energy prices, especially on crude and petrol and diesel are concerned. Now, we haven't seen oil marketing companies hike prices since November, and we've now seen crude move up to over $100 a barrel. Is there a consideration that perhaps the OMCs will need to absorb this hike and not pass it on to consumers, given the fact that we're already in an inflationary situation? So is there a consideration at this point in time that given the current situation, OMCs will be asked to absorb the impact?
No, oil marketing companies are autonomous entities. I don't think they can be told beyond a point to do what it's to be done. I mean, oil marketing companies are operating within the overall Indian national environment. I mean, we don't tell the oil marketing companies what to do. But, I find it sometimes strange. There are people who say, oh, my God, the price is going up. Then they turn around and say, but the price hasn't gone up. I mean, rejoice in the fact that the price hasn't gone up. When it has to go up, how it goes up, that's a marketing decision.
Absolutely.
That's not only for the oil marketing company, that's for the car manufacturers, the chip manufacturers, for everyone to take that decision.
No, I think the consumers are rejoicing that prices haven't moved up, and hence my question that will this continue to be the situation where the OMCs will absorb?
I have to go to attend a plenary of the Gati Shakti.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I thought this was a discussion on Gati Shakti.
Let me get to that, sir.
I can take one question on that, then I have to leave.
Sure, let me get to Gati Shakti.
I'm ready to have another discussion with you whenever you like.
Fair enough. Let me get to Gati Shakti, sir. This is the marquee announcement that the Prime Minister made, which was taken forward in the budget. Can you give us an update on where things currently stand in terms of prioritization of the projects, etc.? How much progress has been made, and more importantly, what the road ahead looks like?
Well, first of all, let me recall the historical perspective. The decision on Gati Shakti was taken and it was launched by the Prime Minister, if I recall correctly, on 13th October 2021. After that, there have been conferences spearheaded by individual lead ministries for the Western Zone in Gandhinagar, by Ports and Shipping, Northern Zone by Department of Telecom on December 21, Eastern Zone Railways online January 22, Central Zone Civil Aviation online on 31st January 22, Southern Zone, Ministry of Road Transport, I think Bangalore online 18 January. We are doing this on 28th February, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, physically. I mean, I'm here in Guwahati. There are ministers from some of the other northeastern states. And what I want to share with you is that my perspective is that since October, and since the time I wrote an article, I recall, I think in the Indian Express in October, that Gati Shakti is an inflection point. You see, Gati Shakti takes you to the next level of economic development, which is coordinated, holistic, and synergized. Why do I say that? Earlier, every ministry has its own development plans. Let's say you come to the Northeast, one ministry is laying a line and railway line. Sometimes halfway through these, you discover somebody else is coming in. Now that you have a master plan for Gati Shakti, everyone will have to, if I say want to go and put up a project in a state X, which is a petroleum natural gas project, I will go to that state, I will tell the state, let me know what your wherewithal is, where do things stand. I will go to the other stakeholders, do any of you have? I mean, if I'm laying a pipeline,
Yeah.
I'll find out whether that pipeline laying effort can also take into account somebody else's effort. So I think it's a fantastic conceptual design, and it's showing results readily. I mean, as I said, because of the COVID, all the other conferences were online, many
Yeah.
of them. But today, when I saw when PM was addressing the thing through this webinar,
Right.
we had a packed house there, all stakeholders, everyone. And I don't know about much about these things, but one of my very smart social media operators said that we were already trending at number 4. So I mean, the idea has to catch on, but more than the idea catching on, the stakeholders must know where and how to talk the walk, or walk the talk rather.
Right. So, sir, just to take that forward, as you pointed out, that the attempt is to ensure that all departments are speaking to each other, that there are no silos in operation, and hence the hope is that infrastructure projects specifically will move much faster. Are there any specific projects at this point in time that are being prioritized under the Gati Shakti plan?
Many. I wish I had more time, but let me tell you, the Gati Shakti also excels in achieving something else. The cost of logistics, which the Honorable PM in his address at the webinar described as 13 to 14% of the GDP. I mean, you bring that down. I mean, just imagine bringing even 2% of the GDP cost down, but 13 to 14%. But I'll just tell you something. I came here some months ago, and I said that the area under exploration and production in the Northeast will increase from 25,000 square kilometers to 50,000 square kilometers. Yesterday, I reviewed one of the oil companies, I think Oil India, and they are telling me that in the next 3-4 years, their oil production will go up by 47% and their gas production by 89%. I mean, if this isn't progress, which is staring you in the face, what we will have to make sure that all this is being done both by telescoping and bringing in simultaneity so that there's no sequentiality in getting delays done. But I'll be very happy when I'm back in Delhi to sit down with you and take you through the brick by brick of the Gati Shakti plan and the master plan and how it is succeeding.